Hey, what is up, mortals? It is TheLuckyDerp here, and welcome to part 8 of What If Obito Wasn't Crushed by the Rocks. Just want to greet you guys by saying sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. And so we begin. This is a top priority with the delicate nature of the situation. We can't afford to let those eyes get far. Only Team Kakashi had seen that there wasn't even a culprit to the previous night's fire. If they weren't there, most would just think it was a fire that broke out, and the eyes were destroyed in the blaze. Though both Obito and Kakashi didn't mention how similar the culprit was to their dream. They didn't even tell each other they had the same dream. Kakashi nodded. I think I have an idea on how to track them. We'll get those eyes back, Lord Third. I know the Anbu have tracking hounds, but I have been practicing. It should be enough to track that guy. The third Hokage paused for a moment before motioning to the person behind him. They were all surprised to see their teacher Minato back from whatever assignment he was working on, but he was a welcome sight considering the circumstances. As long as you have proven your abilities to lead, you should have some backup. The third Hokage was impressed with how calm they all were, considering how well they'd done in the previous mission. Obito looked back at their teacher. So are you going to be in charge this time, Minato-sensei? While I am for this moment, you all have proven your growth tremendously. I'll be looking for your input. While Minato was proud of his students, time was of the essence. Minato-sensei is one of the best around. If he's coming with us, then something tells us this isn't something like a normal theft. Before they left the village, Rin stopped the group for a second. She got out a scrap of cloth she had been keeping in her bag. It was the only thing left behind from the thief they fought the previous night. Kakashi, you said you had been working on something, so I got that piece you asked for. He turned to Minato to get some confirmation before trying it. The gestures were quite familiar to some of them. Summoning jutsu. Out of it came a smaller ninja dog, but even then it seemed confident to be ready to help. The dog came right up to Kakashi. So, what do you need? Or is it just more practice? Same attitude as ever, Pakun. Still the best tracker around. He knelt and gave the scrap of cloth to Pakun. We need you to track this guy, Pakun. The dog sniffed it for a good while, turning his nose at the most of it. Smells like a bonfire, but I got it. Follow me. He took off in a flash as the rest of the team followed. Minato almost seemed impressed at the progress of his students, but still kept forward. It looked like would have been a long journey if they were going to catch up to the thief. Wow, when did you learn how to summon dogs like that? Obito was still keeping pace with the dog, but was curious. That was a jutsu that was normally learned through a contract. Kakashi kept moving ahead, but thought back to his training. He learned a lot of skills in his pursuit to try to be better than his father. This was all before he came to accept everything that happened. Just preparing for situations. Though that's besides the point. Like, why did they send you out with us, Minato-sensei? He wasn't the only one who noticed. Their teacher was one of the best ninja around and one of the best assets during the war. To send him out to catch a thief must mean something special. Rin nodded. I have to agree with Kakashi. While I'm glad to see you, it just seems a little personal. Minato sighed as he moved back to keep pace with the others. He looked over to Obito and Kakashi for a moment before looking back ahead. You two got a crash course on the Sharingan, so you should be familiar with how it works normally. You kids are going to be right in the middle of this, so you have a right to know. Obito paused for a moment to consider, but he trusts everyone here. You mean this has something to do with the Mangekyo Sharingan, right? That would make sense. We didn't get much of a chance to look into it before the fire happened. Though, would that mean one of those stolen eyes has it? One of the stolen eyes is the pair to the eye you revived, Obito. Normally it wouldn't be much of a concern, but you have proven its potential. The Elder gets nervous, especially with that kind of power it could unleash. It was almost like he was contemplating how to explain what's coming next. Rin just looked a bit confused as to what they were even talking about, but she had the general sense of the situation. I may not get what this all does, but you still haven't answered the question yet. Minato sighed. Our village also has one of the tailed beasts sealed within. It's why the elders are a little jumpy on this. Things are already tense with the Uchiha clan. If a Sharingan releases the Nine Tails, the consequences could be far beyond just destruction. This was the first time any of them heard about that, but still seemed far beyond also keeping the peace. It was Kakashi that decided to break the silence. You know who has the Nine Tails, don't you? Minato chuckled. It was still refreshing a bit to see how much Kakashi had blossomed from how he was when he first met the boy. Yeah, I know who she is. After all, I married her. After that, he picked up his pace with Pakun, leaving his students. A little shell-shocked, Rin just smiled as she picked up her own pace. That's kinda romantic how far he's willing to go to protect Miss Kushina. Obito pouted a bit, but kept quiet. Let's just hurry. That guy was working for someone, and it's nothing good. Well, I agree with that, but he needs to stop beating around the bush with that. Still, I have this bad feeling. None of this is gonna stop with just the eyes. When Pakun finally stopped, it almost looked like an abandoned town. The more they looked around, it just seemed like most of the former residents left one day out of nowhere. The silence around them seemed almost eerie. Kakashi looked down to Pakun after surveying the empty town. Are you sure the scent is around here? What do you take me for? I'm not some garden variety puppy, though the scent does seem to go underground. He was pawing downward to prove his point. Obito sighed as there seemed to be no entrance underground anywhere. Can't you be any more specific? The dog just scoffed before pointing towards the center of town. I'm a dog, not a miracle worker, kid. I can't do all the work for you, but I can still tell you when you get close. Obito still seems a little tense, though I also feel it. Something big is waiting for us underground. Shouldn't be much of an issue with all of us here. I think I found a hatch over here. They followed Rin, and just like Paku has said, it was in a building near the center of town. Looked like it was originally some sort of mayor's house. Minato paused before letting anyone into the hatch. You all need to prepare yourselves before we enter. The state of this village, for one. Kakashi nodded. It was a grim truth, but it told a lot about who they were facing. This place, it's not just abandoned, but it was abandoned recently. The food on these plates looked fresh. Like these people were snatched up as they were sitting down to eat. I just have the feeling I've seen this somewhere before. It's messed up, but we've also dealt with something similar recently. We can handle this, Sensei. Obito was just saying what everyone was feeling. Obito just sighed with a strange fondness. I forget what group I'm talking to. At first, the hallways they were going down seemed to go on forever. Pakun still kept the scent, but it was mixed with something else. The path even opened up to something they didn't expect to see again. It was almost like when they discovered Aizen's basement, but far more gruesome. It was like someone set up a lab down there. A lab with all the villagers they took. They could see various body parts being kept in tubes, though the one that got most people's attention were the eyes that were in the jar. Most everyone could tell they were Uchiha eyes. It was easy to tell considering how the Sharingan was active in most of the eyes they had found. I hate to break it to everyone, but that's not all the eyes that were taken. Obito saw how many eyes the guy stole from the vault. As much as this lab infuriated him, he did make sure to count how many Uchiha eyes he could find. Rin was more focused on the notes that were lying around. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but not all of these are even the stolen eyes. Most everyone went to take a look at the notes Rin found. Most of them were medical, but they detailed some experiments. One that caught the interest of the three was one paper in particular. It detailed an experiment that would require girls from each of the lands. It had names and everything through the one on the bottom was the one that got their attention. It was the name of Princess Mina. Minato took stock at how the others were reacting to the details of the experiment. So I take it this is the lab of that Eisen fellow you all fought in the cloud? That would explain a lot, especially with how he could change his face. Eisen was the name of a dead man, but if he was the one pulling these experiments, then that fact makes sense. Kakashi put the papers back as he paused. Though I didn't think we would be running into the man again for some time. If this is his lab, then I doubt he's gone far, considering how he led us back here. Hate to break it to you all, but your guy is getting closer to us. At this point, Pakun was just using Rin's head to relax, but his nose never lies. The scent he was given was all over the lab as well. No wonder I felt so disgusted lately. Obito prepped himself as the footsteps had started to come louder with each second. Out from the shadows was the same kind of individual they had seen during the night of the fire. Though the mask they wore was distinct, they seemed to carry themselves differently, though Pakun's barking confirmed it was the same person. So how do you like my creations? Fascinating, aren't they? My work does take great strides, especially when it isn't interrupted like before. Even the voice sounded different now, but the three who met him before could tell in an instant. Why don't you stop playing around, Eisen? Kakashi was calm, all things considered, but even then, this was someone who started this a long time ago. The laugh sent chills down Obito's spine as the mask was removed. Eisen applauded, but he kept his eyes on the young ninja, completely ignoring that Minato was even in the room. I hope you all liked the chase over here. After all, it was so hard to leave that trail for you to follow. I hope you didn't miss me too much. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in the story thus far. Hope you enjoy it. Now there are a few more things I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, we got a primary channel called We the Celestials. We the Celestials is what we do here already, but their content's centered around the crazy world and lore of My Hero Academia. So please check us out over there if you're feeling in the mood for a roller coaster of quirky content. We also have another relative to our channel, Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes deep into the facts and lore of a wide variety of anime. It's sure to expand your weeb knowledge for all kinds of series guaranteed. I'd like to let you all know that on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. If you're perhaps interested in what we do here at WTC, then I'd like to extend an invitation to join the team. The only caveat being we only accept members 16 and older to join our crew. You can find us on our Discord, which you can locate in the description below. Our Discord is an all-around fantastic place to be, whether you're a fan or looking to join our band of misfits. All you gotta do is hit up the recruitment server and sign up for whichever category of work that fulfills your interests. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching and have a great day.